Hello, welcome back to News Insights. I am your host, Victory Amma, and with me I have two very wonderful discussants, Mr. Kelvin Acha. Thank you very much for being here. And I have Pastor Kingsley. Thank you for
Thank
very
you
much for being
having
here.
me again.
Today we'll be talking about Wike allegedly disbanding appeal court panel over River State election ruling. And they had like a local government election, and I think there was a lot of chaos surrounding it, but the appeal court upheld the result of the election. And he went secretly in quotes, and dissolved the panel. So I want to understand, like, why do you think he would do such a thing, Mr. Kelvin?
I think this news is allegedly. He was allegedly to have done that.
Yeah.
But one may have to start asking, what gives him that authority, the power to do that, to dissolve the panel that is overseeing that election. From the news I read about this, I saw that some other people also said that, allegedly, that he, used the office of his wife, who is also one of the senior judges in Abuja here, to perpetrate that act. So, but I'm wondering why, if that is the case, that means there's no rule of law anymore. That means anybody can have the judiciary in their pocket. So I think that is what it is.
Okay, Pastor Kingsley, what do you think is the implication of this thing he has done?
Okay, so there was the brouhaha behind the election that was done. We all know what was there. If a small boy comes out in the afternoon and slap a big man, they will know the small boy is not alone.
That's true.
Okay, so police were withdrawn, army were withdrawn. I think the only people that participated in that local government election was civil defense. I'm not too sure about that. But put that aside. Then they went to the courts. Then they talked about the generation of voters register. Now, the holding of the election is on the prerogative of the state government, which has the right to hold those elections. Now, they went to the High Court to nullify it, the election that it was not properly done. Then there was a Court of Appeal that was instituted to see into the matter. And the Court of Appeal upheld the election that said it was conducted rightfully. Now, of course, Wike is not happy with that. Like he said,
but does he have what do they call this thing? Does
no,
he have
no,
Yes,
no.
exactly.
The news that he changed the panel is not like he changed the panel legally or by himself. He went to do his politics under and said the appeal court panel should be dissolved. So it's not a thing that Wike said the panel is dissolved. No, he can't do that. He doesn't have the power to do that. Now, these are some of the things that we've been talking about Wike's involvement with the judiciary.
This thing that he did now
Yes.
is illegal.
No, he didn't do it. He was not the one that did it.
Oh.
It was not Wike that did it. He tried to what do we call it now? To inspire people to do it.
Okay.
On a legal.
He was still the one that did it.
No, we can't. On a normal day, we can't say he's the one that did it.
He was just the master.
Exactly. He played the underground role.
Yes.
Allegedly, we don't know. Do you understand? But they said he was the one that he was not happy that this is not the first one. The first one was that there was a court that also they stopped the allocation of River State government to them. So there was a Court of Appeal that also nullified that one that said you can't stop the allocation from going to them. So he feels he's losing in the judicial way, which has been his stronghold. And that's why you see a lot of people crying for that. Why will Wike be building houses for judges?
Yes.
So if he build houses for judges, the judges could stand up and say, oh, yes, they can be his whims and caprices. That's why we are talking about the independence of the judiciary, the independence of the legislature, the independence of the executive.
And we've spoken about this in one of our
podcasts.
Yes.
You see, there must be an independent judiciary that interprets the law. Like Ugochukwu Chinyere, he was talking about it. He said, look, these matters that have gone to Supreme Court and back, and judgment has been given, and now we are supposed to follow precedents. if something like that happen again, why do we still go back to those things again and now start taking them to court? They should be thrown out from court interlocks and all that stuff. They must go out of that place. How can you know that the prerogative of conducting a local government election lies with the state governor or the state government, and you are still wanting to challenge it? You see, from the judiciary part. So even the judiciary people that are in consonance with him in these things, I think the thing needs to be solved.
Yeah, because the judiciary is supposed to be independent.
Yeah,
without influence.
but there's no independence of the judiciary.
There is no, because Mr. Kelvin mentioned how his wife was one of the senior. It's one of the senior judges. So it means it's interpreted as conflict of interest. Then.
Yes. Now it now depends on who now pays the piper, dictates the tune.
Conflict of interest. The brother was the rec in charge of Edo State election. Did they say, oh, because Wike's brother is detained, did they change him? Wike's wife is the judge. So we already know what that implies. Within the circles, is it news in Nigeria today that they buy judgment? It's an open secret that people buy judgment. It's true. Everybody, within all the circles of politicians, they all know. And it's an indictment on the judiciary. And to me, that's scuffling of democracy. They're scuffling democracy.
That's true.
Yeah, they're scuffling democracy. There's independence. Look, these three arms, they work in consonance, but also they have independence. The legislature, they check the powers of the executive. The judiciary check the executive can say this, and it goes to the judiciary. They say no, that's not how the constitution interprets it. They are the body that is set aside to make sure the constitution is interpreted in the best form and in the best way. And these things cannot and should not continue like this. It's alleged that Wike is the masterminder why the appeal court body that saw into this case in Rivers State was dissolved. We don't know yet.
Yes,
they are just allegations.
Allegations. So what do you think Mr. K, what do you think we should do to stop these things? I'm not saying, okay, if it actually happened, what can be done to stop these things? What kind of policies can be put in place for this kind of thing not to repeat itself?
Unfortunately, the policies will have to come from, I think, the legislative arm of government, starting with them. But as we are all witness to all this, the happenings in this country of late, we can see that there is no, all of them, they work hand in hand to support each other, right? Mm-hmm. And it's quite unfortunate too for the masses, because if you even look at
because they're not doing, if you scratch my back, I scratch your back. When is your turn, you do for me.
Yes. Now, so you see this local government election that happened in Rivers State now, that has been dissolved, right? The thing that is now in one way or the other affecting the masses.
No, it's not dissolved though. They've upheld their election.
They
now.
upheld it.
Yeah.
The election has been upheld now.
Yes,
do you understand? So they can go back and form their councils and move on.
But the former election they did was cancelled, right?
No, it was not cancelled. It was make sure that it's not going to stand. They are saying it must not stand. The election should be null and void. Do another one.
Yeah,
but the Court of Appeal now has upheld the election and said that the election that was done must go on. Let me quickly talk about what must be done. What must be done has been done. It's for people to follow what is right. And somebody to call somebody to question and say, this thing you are doing is not right. That is the truth. The judiciary should learn to stand on their own. The legislature should learn to stand on their own.
I think for the judiciary to stand on their own is to get upright, upstanding people.
No, it's not about people now. Yeah. It's about hunger. Victory, there's hunger.
Everything goes back to the economy.
There is hunger in the land. The people that allocate the money for the judiciary is from the executive. Right?
Yeah, so they work.
Okay, so we are not saying that Wike is building houses for judges. We say no, Wike don't build houses for judges. It should be a part of what the judges benefit as having that office as a judge. Whether they are state judges, we have state judges and we have federal judges. Do you understand? State legislature and federal legislature. And they said that every matter that has to do with the state should end up in the state. So they even said that on a normal day, that election tribunal or whatever it is should have come to a federal high court or an appeal court in the federal system. It should have ended in the state.
That's true.
Do you understand? I don't know too much of all that because I'm not too abreast with the information that has to do with that. But from what is being said, it should have ended at the state level, not at the federal level. It's the state judge, chief judge, that should have constituted a panel to look into the activities of the election, whether it was done well or it was not done well. But of course, Wike's hand, is on the judiciary because go to court. So if you don't agree,
and
go
they
to
would
court.
always say go to court because they know they have hands.
They have power with the
It's
court.
only
So
that thing
nothing will happen
that
now.
thing came up now in the APC era. Go to court.
And it's quite unfortunate for the masses too. Yeah, if you look at it from whichever angle you want to look at it from, that the judiciary, which is supposed to be the mouthpiece of the people, the justice provider of the people, is now going back to support the politicians, right? So it's actually very bad.
And now we don't even trust them.
No, we don't trust them. That's why you
And
see
it's
the
not a
rise.
nice thing in our
There was a time, there was one of our podcasts when Pastor Kingston was interviewed, and he talked about the rise of all these people, all these activists. I think those are the voices of the people
Yes,
right
that's
now.
true.
Yes. So I think those are the ways that, coming back to that question you asked, those are the ways we can go back to, right? Go back to all these activists like the Brekete family and the rest of them.
That's
But they don't they
that's
only
a
have-
failure of the system.
Yes, when the
we're
system
not-
have failed, so we have to resort back. There must be something to fall back to.
We're not dealing
for us
with morality.
for us to survive.
We're
right?
not
Yes.
dealing with morality
Yeah, so-
and not law.
yes.
For example, now, if Berekete say this woman beats the man beats the wife, he injure her for face, that's a case of assault. Assault is supposed to go to the court. And assault is jail without fine. Most of the
Yes.
time, you go to jail for assault. Do you understand? This honorable member that beat the Bolt driver is supposed to be a case that is being prosecuted by the police. Not say I've settled with the guy, I bought him one Bolt car, I've given him 5 million.
And you talking about the police, but settling the police.
Yes.
It has not brought in the fact that the legislation does not only have hand on judiciary, even the executive.
Yes, they all work
They
hand
work
in hand
hand in
together.
hand.
Yes,
This thing are under the executive. That the police and all
Yes,
implementing
they are under
all
executive.
under executive. The
Yes.
army, the police, the civil service, the ministers, ministries.
And which is appalling because why make a law you cannot uphold?
They are not the
Because
one that they are not the one that makes the law. The law is made by the legislature.
That's what I'm saying. The
Then it's
legislature-
transferred to the judiciary to
Now it has been
interpret.
transferred to the judiciary to interpret, but they are still hindering them from interpreting what
Yeah,
they
that's,
have.
that's, that's what they are
that's
doing.
the hypocrisy.
That's
involved in
the
this.
whole
Yes,
thing. Do you understand? They are now hand winking them and put them under their pocket and all that. And before they could do that, it's the judiciary and the legislature that allows them to do that. When you buy cars for the executive, for the legislatures, do you understand? We have innocent there, and somebody is justifying means of buying a Toyota
Thank you
Hilux.
very much.
What
Thank
do
you very
expect?
much for this discussion.
We can
It was
leave judiciary
very
alone. My
insightful.
advice to
Wow. Thank you very much for viewing News Insights on Landslide News. I am still your host, Victory Ama. Thank you for viewing. Please like, subscribe, comment. Bye.